Good afternoon, and welcome to another acerbic and acidic episode of Diatribes from the Voice of Doom. And now here's your annoyed and irritated host, Voice of Doom. Thank you, Mr. Announcer. I got a new shirt. I like it. It's kind of more for May or June wear, but I like the pattern. Just joined one again, talk about a bunch of different stuff. Codas about the domestic elections and annoyances. Now, first thing that's annoying is these memes just catch on too fast, and then they're ubiquitous. And when I say ubiquitous, I mean it spreads like the epsilon variant. It just... Alright. A chant starts up about how people feel about Petri dish, and they come up with a very colorful chant that's not able to be relayed correctly because it's not allowed by the FCC. A lot of F's in there. I say F them all, but... So they have F Joe Biden, which they call him, and the lady probably hears what's being said, but kind of doesn't want to, acknowledge it. It's interrupting her interview with some guy named Brandon, who I guess won some car race. Believe me, that's the last thing I'm interested in. But coincidentally, she just goes, "Oh, listen to the crowd. Let's go, Brandon." Now we know what happened after that. It's become a meme, or whatever they call it. It's become totally ingrained. Go to any of your videos, YouTube guys, and check it out. Go to any one of them and look at the chats and look at the comments. That's all people say. They can condense the American English language down to 3 words. Let's go, Brandon. And if I was Brandon, I'd be kind of pissed because I'm hearing my name being chanted all across the galaxy, and it's not even about me. So someone's got to sue somebody. I would. Sickening. It gets so tiresome. How long did that take? 10 days before the phrase became absolutely time-worn? And I'm like, why do I bother with this planet? I just do my thing and then move on. Maybe I'll be somewhere else because it's very boring. Let's go, Brandon. All right, we said it once or twice. Can we go move on? Or at least go back to the original phrase. God. Human beings, I'll tell you what the next one's going to be now. You're going to see it everywhere. Mama bears. Mama bears and their cubs. That's going to be the next meme. Take my word for it. Because of what happened yesterday. And it's fine, but it's going to get tiresome. I was married to a mama bear, and I agree, I wouldn't want to be anybody up against them. And my wife, oh my God, I'm so glad that our timing was perfect, because if our kids were 20 years younger now, and my wife was still with us, she would just be absolutely, I don't even like to think about it. This world would be much worse off because she would be a typhoon mixed with a cyclone and a tornado with a Tasmanian devil. So we can count ourselves lucky on that score. I just wanted to vent my annoyance. Now, the results, well, actually, I was more impressed with the New Jersey thing because I think New Jersey is way more bluish. And the fact that this guy is still neck and neck and may actually win is, of course it doesn't bode well for the Democrats, but why should anything bode well for them? Now, when I see results that are like numbers, and I know they'll be skewed sooner or later, but I guess this guy in VA, conceded, so that's good. I mean, I'm glad he did that. I respect him for that if he sticks to it, because whenever they say we don't concede yet, there's going to be trouble. And we've seen it, and I've seen it. The real crap started in 2000, and I'm not even going to talk about it. But yeah, okay, so the Democrats have to take a good long look at themselves, and I decided I'd look at some of these other outlets too. And I noticed their bias right away, and then when I was listening to it, then I went back to the F channel, which I tend to go to for American news. I realized they're really biased too, so just let them be biased, both of them. Because I hardly ever hear people, not rooting for their side on the F channel. And I like them, but, most of the news channels are biased. I mean, that's just the way it is now because they want a certain audience. So that's that. Some of them are more absurd than others. They look at black and say it's white because they can't admit that their guy is really fucking up. But we won't speak of such things right now because I was going to say that the D's are blaming themselves for the loss because they said they didn't pass that atrocity, that big bloated pile of papers that go up 20 stories that no one would ever read even if it was passed. And that's the problem with the Democrats. That's why they blame themselves. They're very sheepish that they didn't pass that thing. And a lot of people like me are saying maybe people don't want that. Maybe they want to send a sign that we're not into this big bloated mess. And now they've conflated, which I just found out means putting together. Well, I know it means getting bigger, but conflagration, I know about that, but conflating the two bills so that you can't get one without the other. And since they know we need infrastructure, because if bridges start decaying, they need money for bridges and railways. I mean, you don't want to have railroads going flying off the Rocky Mountains somewhere. That looks bad. And then on the other hand, I won't go to the other hand. I'll just say, the bellwether is for next year. 1 year from now, which is, 1 year from now that Petri Dish is still doing whatever he does. He's been in office. He's been actively working in, whatever he does. He's been sitting in a chair in some sort of fake office that represents the presidency for 9 months and 2 weeks. Now, I'm not going to go through the list of what already happened, what's happening now, and what's about to happen. So, a year from now, there's not going to be an election, and I told you why. And it's especially true now. They better not have any more interim elections, because the more the Democrats lose, the more they're going to rig up a way to not have an election, because they can do it. You simply have a pandemic. You panic people. You make it so they have to postpone the election. Or if you do have an election, it's so convoluted with ballots everywhere that you can pretty much write your own ticket. And don't say that can't happen. God, a year from now. 2022, a year from now, November. You guys don't get it. 2022 is going to be Armageddon, big time. I'm telling you right now. But that leads into my other disaster of vaccine mandates. Now, every single person to a they, every entity says the same thing. We don't think people should be made to, and people are losing their jobs because they're refusing. Now, they have all these people in the public sector that the powers that be are mandating that they either get a shot or they lose their job. Now, I mean, on its face, it's not good, and they always say constitutional rights. And I don't give a crap about any constitution. I'm going to do what I want. I have my own set of morality, and I weigh cause and effect, and I weigh, my own effect to me, and as it, applies to society, and I use my own judgment. I'm not going to rob a bank because I can see how it's bad for everybody. Need to see that written down on paper. I'm going to read the CFR, Code of Regulations, to see what I can and can't do. Constitution, constitutional rights. But they always had the caveat. I'm sick of that. But I got vaccinated, and I encourage everyone to get vaccinated. And then they have to kind of say it. The language is weird because their own rules, sort of, with their own thing, and the rules of the internet say, you cannot say certain things about certain things because you're encouraging people to do something that's not good for them. So that's fine. So I don't encourage that. But I never hear anybody say, they'll say they got vaccinated and they encourage others, but they don't like the mandate and they don't think that's right. And I've never heard anybody say, well, I haven't gotten vaccinated, okay? They never come out and said that. Not once. And they always say everybody should ask their medical professional. And I want to know what medical professional is going to say don't get a vaccine when you go to their office and have a formal consultation, which you're paying for. The only medical professionals that I've heard that have been skeptical, they don't say it to their patients in their office. So, it's just weird because nobody can say, I just haven't gotten it because I don't want to, And it's like, well, they have all kinds of different reasons, and some reasons may be unreasonable. Maybe that, you have a kid that seemed normal for 6 months and then got an inoculation, and then, suddenly his development is slowed down. And I won't say anything more about that because that whole theory has been debunked, but doubt gets put in your mind when you think about foreign objects going into your body and the fact that we evolved into this entity, nature, with our appearance. I'm going to go back to the Buddhism after this, explain appearance, nature, entity, and consciousness, and the unification of all those four things. It's very interesting. But yeah, they talk about, mandates and how people are getting laid off, and I've told you in my previous Get the Jab, I believe it was called, that there's going to be a segregation. And people are going to have to prove with their cards what they've had, because they can't keep testing for everything once a week testing. What good does that do? And what good, I'm not going to say what, but certain behavior has to be uniform, otherwise it doesn't seem like it makes sense to do. And I won't mention people who get the vaccine and end up getting COVID-19 anyway. Not with as bad as, they're much better off. They don't get as severe effects, except for Colin Powell. Other than him, everybody's fine. But I won't say anything more about that. I just will say that it's coming toward the end as far as I'm concerned, 29 more days. So I'm going to keep doing a lot of diatribes because I got to warn people and say I did my part. To prognosticate impending doom. And it's not going to be for everybody. Not everybody's going to go down the drain. But society and Western civilization, yes, it is almost over. I don't think people have to worry too much longer. So we'll be seeing that, and I'm there. I'm sorry it petered out. I didn't have anything dramatic to say, so I'll bid you good afternoon and enjoy what's left. Bye.